5 o'clock, what's going on? Welcome to Idaho Sports Talk. Prater in the ball game. Boise State hosting Fresno tonight at Extra Mile Arena. The Broncos favored by 12. Coverage beginning at 6:30 on our sister station, KBOI, with Bob Beeler. Prater, we got a lot of NFL to get to this hour. Maybe talk some hoops, some soapboxes to jump on. Here we are, quick show today, hour number 3 already.
Having a lot of fun today, ball game. We're getting after it. We're getting feisty. We're entertaining ourselves. Hopefully, we're entertaining you guys as well.
You got Boise State big tonight?
10 to 12.
Yeah, okay, right around there.
Yeah,
yep.
Early and often, and just kind of cruise control.
208-424-9300. Prater, Kellen Moore has been reported, has interviewed for the Carolina Panthers head coaching position. This is the only interview we've heard of Kellen having so far in this cycle. Last year, he had a couple. I know he had an interview a couple of years ago, too. He's done this thing before, and he did it again today, and obviously he wants to be a head coach. He's said that, and I don't know if he gets this Carolina job, but where are we right now? Where are you right now with Kellen Moore trying to be a head football coach in the NFL, man?
Yeah, I don't think he gets the Carolina job, and, I'm just, it's a gut feeling. We're just trying to, tap into our brains right now and trying to figure that out. He was the 9th out of 9 candidates that interviewed. He was dead last. I don't know what that means. There was some they had to reschedule the interview process because of some logistics and some other things that were going on. So, that doesn't necessarily say anything, but when you're the last one, maybe that's good. Maybe that's bad. I think Sean Payton, based on what we can read, interviewed last night, Kellen Moore this morning. Everybody else is in the book. They're going to go back and look at the round 2 and bring some people more back in. I think he did his interview face to face. So that's also a very good sign. Kellen Moore is not going to get a head coaching job this cycle, I don't think. And here's what it comes down to. And we talked about this at 3:00, and I felt, I never feel good about ripping on, we're not ripping on Kellen Moore. I think we're having a very honest, candid conversation about the reality of Kellen Moore right now. And there's 2 R words that really stand out right now that aren't working in Kellen Moore's favor. The respect factor. When I think, and I'm not talking about what he did, who he is, all the things that we love about Kellen Moore. When a billionaire owner of an NFL football team hires a football coach, he wants and demands one thing. You walk into a room and you command respect. You walk into a room and everybody drops what they're doing and locks eyeballs with you. And for the next year, whoever you talk to, whoever you interact with, you command a massive amount of respect. Dan Campbell. He could be a meathead. That's fine. But he walks into a room and he owns that room.
Detroit Lions, yes.
He owns that room. Most, if not all, NFL head coaches, not all, most NFL coaches fit that. Mike Tomlin, my coach, walks into a room, commands respect. Kellen Moore doesn't have that right now. Kellen Moore is struggling to get that right now. And he also doesn't have the resume. And that's where it really strikes out to me right now. There is no superpower for Kellen Moore. Why would an NFL owner want to hire Kellen Moore? He doesn't have the resume that they're looking for, and he doesn't command the respect that an NFL owner is looking for. I'm not saying things couldn't change, although we have some thoughts on that too, ball game. We might talk about Kellen Moore's future here in a second, but right now, I don't think he's getting a job this cycle, and I'm starting to wonder when and if it's ever going to happen.
I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know if Kellen Moore is ever going to be the head coach of an NFL franchise. I think what will have to happen for that to happen is Kellen Moore needs to build this resume up a little bit.
Yes.
And right now, Kellen Moore, he's not as hot as he was a year or 2 years ago, where he was like this, this cut from this Sean McVay genius cloth of NFL schemes and X's and O's, and he'll scheme guys open, and he's a brilliant play caller, and he's so creative. He's lost some of that appeal.
I think so too.
Just look at the numbers, and is it his fault? I don't think so, because I looked at the Cowboys' offense and their numbers, and their players this year just haven't been as good. The talent in that room, we mentioned even guys like Cedric Wilson, losing him hurt Kellen this year.
Absolutely.
Losing Amari Cooper was a massive loss. I don't know if CeeDee Lamb was ready to be the WR1 there in Dallas. And so he hasn't had the talent around him. He's going to have to somehow get hot again. And does that mean that the Cowboys are going to have to go on a better run than they've went on? I mean, this past year, they win a playoff game. He beats Tom Brady, and then it kind of comes crashing in San Francisco. Last year, the debacle at the end of the game where they lost again at home to San Francisco.
Yep.
They haven't went on a run. And Kellen, I think, needs to be a part of that to get that gig. Now, Dan Quinn, he's been a head coach. He's went to a Super Bowl, should have won it. He's done better job, I think, with this defense this year than Kellen did with that offense there. And I think Dan Quinn probably, like you're saying, the walk into the room effect, I think people would respect Dan Quinn now more than Kellen Moore. NFL players, like, if you can't help them get better, you're dead to them.
Yes.
They do not care. They don't need rah-rah. They don't need to be motivated. They need you as a coach to make them a better player so they can make more money.
Absolutely.
And they can get paid. And that's how this thing goes. And I don't know right now if Dave Tepper and the Carolina Panthers hired Kellen Moore, I think the story around the league would be like, what the hell is Dave Tepper doing? Did the 8 other candidates say no thank you?
Yeah.
Because you look at some of these other names on this list, there's no way Kellen's getting this job. And there's not a bigger fan in this town of Kellen than me. I would love to get on here and say, no, he's got a great shot. I don't think he has a shot. Use that interview, get better with that. I think if you want to really discuss his future right now, him as an NFL head coach, damn it, I think it's several years down the road. If he wants to be a head coach, I think he has a better shot chasing a college gig.
Eventually, I'm not ready to go there, and I don't think he's ready to go there, and I know you don't think he's ready to go there. But
no, he loves the NFL.
Yeah, and you're talking about his chances. I think the best thing that could happen to Kellen Moore right now is if Sean Payton took over that job and fired everybody. Kellen Moore's going to get a job.
Sean Payton took what job?
The Cowboys job, and fired everybody. Now, I'm not, other than the fact that the Cowboys do weird things every now and then, that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think that would be the best thing for Kellen Moore. He's going to get a job. He's valuable in this league. Somebody's going to give him an OC job. There's no doubt about that. And maybe a fresh start, a fresh sight, a fresh, a redo in your career.
I think so.
Because I think the Dallas Cowboys right now, he's pigeonholed as a Dallas Cowboys guy with limited success and a quarterback who's really struggles with inconsistencies. Again, it's not always his fault, but it's the reputation. It's the resume thing. And it's hurting him right now. And eventually the respecting goes away if you have the resume that gets you in the door. If you've turned the Dallas Cowboys into the greatest offensive show in America, you walk into a room and you command respect. He doesn't have that tool with him right now. And that's the big struggle. Maybe he can go somewhere else and be an offensive coordinator and kind of, I don't want to say resurrect his career. His career is perfectly wonderful and perfectly fine. We're trying to take it to the next level. That's, getting a head coach, one of 32 men on this planet, to lead an NFL football team is rarefied air. Ballgame, I think I'm with you. I think at this point in my life, I'm not going to sit here and say, when Kellen Moore went into the NFL as a player, it's just a short term until he becomes a head coach. When he became an assistant coach, this is going to be fast.
Yes, we all thought that.
I don't. If you ask me today, and you said it, and I think we both agree, might be the only thing we've agreed on all day today. I don't think he's going to be a head coach in the NFL at this point.
208-424-9300. Are you agreeing, or are we completely certifiably crazy to think that Kellen Moore's future as an NFL head coach is certainly in limbo? And I would say no more than yes right now if I could put money on this in some type of bet of will Kellen be an NFL head coach in the next 5 years. I don't know. He's still massively young. He's in his mid-30s.
Exactly.
He's not going anywhere. So this opportunity may present itself at some point. I've always kind of thought, though, from the personality, and not every coach is rah-rah, run through a brick wall, Bill Parcells, Bill Cowher, like loud and Andy Reid's not like that. He's a mild-mannered. He's a gentleman.
Yes.
But he's been so great at what he's done. He commands all the respect he needs. Now, Dan Campbell, he'll say, hey, we're going to kick your ass. I'm going to bite your kneecap off. And that works for him. I've always kind of wondered what would work for Kellen. Think Mike McDaniel with the Miami Dolphins. Small, kind of softly spoken, mild-mannered. I mean, he goes in there and he's all business. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to execute. I don't think he gives a lot of pep talks.
Agreed.
I think Kellen would kind of fall kind of in that room versus, I know Kellen. I can't see him going into the team room. All right, guys, we're going to go inside. We're going to go outside. We're going to run through a brick wall. That's just not Kellen at all. But Kellen can say, yeah, we're going to execute. We practiced all week. We know what we're doing here, and we're going to go out there and we're going to get the job done. Now let's go. Hey, come on.
Yeah.
Like, he'd be one of those guys. But I've always kind of wondered, if that would work or not for Kellen, because he's so soft-spoken.
If he gets a job, This has nothing to do if he gets a job and how successful he's going to be. If he gets a head coaching job, I think he's going to be successful. I really, truly believe that. We're talking about getting that job, getting a billionaire owner, one of 32 on this planet, to give him the keys to a franchise where his job is to command respect and to build his resume. So I'm not sure that's the stumbling block for me right now, is getting that job, getting the opportunity, because I think he can be fine. And he doesn't have to be the rah-rah guy. He doesn't have to bite kneecaps and eat lions to be successful. He could go off and be businesslike and take care. Chris Peterson style.
Right.
Chris Peterson was a lot more negative and mean than Kellen Moore. He had that streak to him. He had that streak to him. He was very charming and very diplomatic about the way he conducted it. But Kellen Moore doesn't have the mean streak. He doesn't have the
you can't see him chewing somebody's ass, can you?
No, you sit down and let me explain to you how to be better. I mean, he's that kind of guy, and that's fine.
And I think a lot of players appreciate that.
I do think that as well.
Especially these Generation Z kids that are coming to the league at 2021. I mean, you can't really yell at kids anymore, Prater, if you're an adult. You can't really do it.
When I say he can't walk into a room and command respect, I'm not talking about a room of Boise State boosters, or I'm talking about 54 football players and practice squad hanger-oners and whatever else.
Yeah.
And the guy in the corner making sure that he's locked in and listening to Kellen Moore. NFL players are a different breed. A 21-year-old NFL football player is different. And he doesn't give a crap about what Kellen Moore did in college. He doesn't give a crap about Kellen Moore and what he's not doing or doing with the Dallas Cowboys. He gives a crap about, hey, you can make me better. And that's a tough sell for Kellen Moore right now.
Let's take one call on this. Eric, appreciate you holding. Welcome to Idaho Sports Talk, Eric. Kellen Moore, yay or nay? How are you feeling about his prospects as a future NFL head coach, Eric?
I absolutely love the guy. Brilliant mind. Definitely going to outsmart other people, outsmart other coaches. But it's not. He's not ready yet. He's not there yet. The other part is, let's say he does become a head coach. Is he plugged in enough? Is he going to be able to recruit other coaches, great coaches? Is he going to be able to land one of the top-tier defensive coordinators to come in there and run his defense? I don't know if he has that much clout yet from his short time in the league.
That's a good point.
And, you guys, while I was on hold, I was listening. You guys are talking about the Gen Z kids and stuff. The guys coming up right now, they've never been yelled at. They've all been pampered. They're the top, top percentage always. They're the ones they've been pampered their whole life. They've been told they're great their whole life. There's a different way to getting through to those kids now, and I think he knows how to do that.
I think
he'd be really good at that.
Yep.
But I don't think he's quite there as a coach. I mean, if the Cowboys go on a run, they make it to the Super Bowl, he has a top flight offense, top, most yards, points.
Then he gets a gig.
He gets hot again. Then he's got something to hang his hat on when he walks into a room with an owner and say, I ran the best offense in the NFL.
Yep.
If he has that, I think he's going to go. And a couple of years ago, I think he did have more momentum than he does now.
Absolutely.
But I think he's put his head down, go to work, keep working in Dallas as long as he can. He's working for a good owner gives him a lot of freedom. That's a really good gig right now until he gets the gig he wants.
I appreciate the call, Eric. Good stuff. And Jerry Jones, he's a lot of things. He's, to me, very shockingly loyal over his career as the owner of the Cowboys. He doesn't like firing people. You would think he'd be like a George Steinbrenner. Get out of here. Jerry Jones is not like that, Prater.
Nope, not at all.
He likes his staff. He keeps them there and good stuff there. Kellen Moore, I agree. I think he had momentum a couple of years ago in the Cowboys. Whether it's Kellen's fault, whether it's McCarthy, whether it's they just don't have as many good players as they've had in the last couple of years due to the salary cap. He's not winning enough in Dallas to get this type of attention. He's got one interview, Prater, one.
Are we okay if Kellen Moore stays an offensive coordinator for the next 20 years in the National Football? Let's say he's the next Eric Bieniemy.
Wow.
Are we okay with that?
Yeah, I guess. I don't think that would happen, but sure.
Why
I think at some point he would take a head coaching job in college.
We've been saying that about Bieniemy, though. Even
the
college part. I mean, mostly it's about the NFL, but there's people that have dipped his name into college. And I have no idea why people aren't hiring Eric Bieniemy, but he's certainly that guy that Kellen Moore is. I mean, Kellen Moore wish he had that much attention in terms of trying to get the job. It seems like Bieniemy's. I mean, the heat around him
command respect too.
But the heat around him has backed off the last couple of years. You don't hear his name anywhere near as much as you used to.
Don't, man.
No,
I mean, maybe he chills in Kansas City until Andy Reid gives it up, and he's kind of like this coach in waiting, and they can sell Bieniemy on that. You will be the coach of this team once Andy Reid leaves, but Andy Reid, you're not going to leave when you have Patrick Mahomes entering his prime.
No,
Coaches don't do that, Prater.
no.
So yeah.
Although, remember when Brian Harsin left for Kellen Moore senior year? Didn't he leave after Kellen Moore's junior year to take the Texas gig?
Dean Pease, I believe, was the Brent Pease. Brent Pease was the quarterback that 1 year, Kellen's senior year, right? That's who Boise State hired.
I believe that is correct.
And then I think Coach Pease went to Florida after that. So yeah, you're right.
I mean,
Harsin left.
There's one guy who, he left the superstar quarterback, but it kind of worked out for him.
You got Texas. You got
it worked out well for him.
Mac Brown, and that good stuff. NFL Penthouse, NFL Outhouse. I'm going to deliver that coming up. And another quick reminder that the Boise Golf Show is coming February 9th through 11th. If you golf, then this is something you just have to make time for. Visit BoiseGolfShow.com. Prater and myself will be hosting our show there on Thursday, February 9th. Pretty cool thing, JP.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic